extremism that's in the world. We are eager to eradicate all of these issues together, and we have the confidence to do so. That's very empowering. Being Jewish inspires me to be active in this work because it is the way that I bring life to my own religious values and to see the product of peace and well-being for all come to fruition through my own actions as a Jew. But Judaism does not mean this to every single Jew, and in that, my question to each of you. Every faith faces internal issues of division, and I'm wondering, first, if intra-faith and interfaith MDG initiative work can actually strengthen religious communities from inside out, and then second, if interfaith work can counter the divisions within each faith to accomplish the MDGs, to bring peace on an intra-faith level as well as worldwide. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jess, for your work. This is a great question, very rich and full. I'm going to be fast.
They say in Syria, never give a woman a telephone and never give a man a microphone.
Okay, well, give me back yours then. Can I have your... or give it to your wife. This is a tremendous question, actually, and in the time that I've been doing this work, it's really been extraordinary for me to see that you will have people from one faith community who disagree on many different things, extraordinary ideological differences. But around a humanitarian cause, like malaria control, everyone agrees. And so what happens is you get people in the room who may be on two different opposite ends of the scale, but come together around a humanitarian cause. There's nothing political about it. There's nothing potentially non-PC. People get activated around saving lives. So there's an extraordinary opportunity, and so we sort of know the high-level opportunity of increased interfaith cooperation and across faith lines, but what I've seen in my own community, I'm Muslim, and when I look at the range of Muslims that are involved in this, who come from many different ideological backgrounds, who practice and worship Islam and worship Allah in many different ways, it's really extraordinary for me, and so it's been a blessing for me to be a part of this work because I have come to know more about Muslims through this work. And it causes me to lose some of the stereotypes that I have of my community and also of other faith communities. And I've heard many people share the same experience. I don't think we went in thinking that would happen. So it's almost like you said something that was already in my mind playing out that I wouldn't have known. And humanitarian service is one of those things. If your intentions and your actions are pure and you're really doing the work to save lives or to improve the quality of life of someone else, and that's your focus, you almost can't go wrong. And you're going to gain, and you're going to not only yourself, but you're also going to gain in terms of the people in your life. So thank you for that. And I'm sorry.
Just first of all, I'd like to make clear to Shaykh Hamza that we did knight Paul McCartney, and if John had lived, I think we would have done the same. I just want to get that on the record.
Paul's easy to knight, trust me. John would have been hard.
John would have been hard, but we would have done it. It's a changing country. Anyway, forget that. We'll discuss that later. I think, just very, very simply, for me the important thing, and I speak very personally here, the important thing is to rescue the idea of spiritual and religious faith from, on the one hand, people who think faith is an interesting bit of tradition, but it's got nothing, an interesting bit of history, but got nothing to say about the future. And on the other, from people whose religious faith makes them want to define themselves, excluding the other person. Right. And I think, there are all sorts of huge theological, doctrinal questions that we can get into when we are people of different faiths sitting down together. I think, for the moment, just leave all that to one side. What we all share is a belief, as my religion would put it, that the first duty is to love your God, and the second duty is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that love of God, or commitment to God, or surrender to God, is a principle that we all share in different ways, even those religions that are not monotheistic in the same way as ours are. And love your neighbor as yourself is just the simple, most basic thing, and it's at the heart of the Malaria No More campaign. That's what it's about. And therefore, I think that the best way of doing this, intra-faith and interfaith, is to give visible, practical expression to those principles. And if we, from the different faiths, work together in that practical way, who knows, some of those differences may seem less important than the achievement and accomplishment of a common endeavor for an end that surely must be an end that God wills. And that is the way that I would approach it. Thank you.
Bismillah. They've all been excellent questions. I definitely think intrafaith is a really important and neglected aspect. I think within religions we need to talk to each other because there are a lot of problems. In terms of interfaith, I really like Ibo Patel's initiative, which is a youth initiative to get people of different faiths, instead of having interfaith dialogue, it's actually have interfaith works, where they come together to do something positive. I think too often we tend to talk too much. Often I think interfaith silence would actually be a really nice experience, where we just sat at a table together next to each other and realized that we're human. We're all facing our mortality. So, but just to end on this note, each of our religions challenges us to serve, and we tend to forget that. So many Muslims I know have personal piety that is just awe-inspiring. Night prayers, reciting the entire Quran in a month, but they tend to forget that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that the best actions were those that benefited others. That so often religion is a personal pursuit, and that aspect of religion is important, undeniably. But the Prophet Muhammad, the first sermon that he gave when he came to Medina was, O humanity, he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, afshu salam, spread peace, wa at'imu ta'am, and feed the hungry. وَقُومْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّاسُ نِيَامٌ, and get up a little bit of the night and remember God in the night when other people are sleeping. And he said, you will enter paradise without any difficulties. 2 out of those 3 injunctions are to serve others, to be peacemakers, not to be warmongers, and to help people. Feeding the hungry has a lot of different meanings. People are hungry for knowledge. People are hungry for human just interaction. There's all these people in our society that, alone at home in front of a TV with a TV dinner. West Africa, one of the things I loved about it is people, they can't eat alone. I mean, one of the Arabs, they said that he so refused to eat alone, if he found himself in the desert and he was really hungry, he used to put a rock up, and he would eat and throw a piece at the rock, just because he could not bring himself to eat alone. And just being human, coming together and being human. The golden rule in Christianity is as good. It's in every religion. Buddhism, at the essence of Buddhism is compassion. At the essence of Hinduism is service, accruing karma that is going to enable you to break the cycles of samsara. All of our religions are saying serve the other. And the beauty of serving the other is that you are serving yourself. I mean, that's the real secret that we don't realize, that we are serving ourselves, and it can sound trite, but there's a deep and profound meaning to that. And to end on a Jewish note, since the question was from a Jewish lady, and I think it's Rabbi Gamal, but it might have been Rabbi Hillel, said that all of Torah can be summed up in 2 statements. Love God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. Everything else is commentary. Each one of our religions could really take that to heart. Because and we are on a planet now where we're all neighbors. We're neighbors. The Chinese are our neighbors. They're not our enemies. They're our neighbors. And they need to know that we're not their enemies. We're their neighbors. And they have a great tradition of being good to the neighbor. Thank you.
What a note to end on. Can we have a round of applause for our panel, please? No.